All right, well, good morning. My name is Scott Morris. I am the Games Category Manager and the Director of Business Development for GTS Distribution. We are here with another one of our B2B webinars where we are bringing publishers and retailers together to have a conversation about awesome games. Today, I'm very happy. We have with us Stephan Brissaud from IELLO, and he is going to talk to us about two very specific games. We're going to talk about Mountains of Madness, which is some of the most fun time I've ever had in a Cthulhu environment in my entire life personally. And a brand new game coming up called 8-Bit Box, which is really cool as well. Just as a reminder for all the retailers who are joining us, first and foremost, thank you very much. I understand that your time is precious and you are busy being retailers primarily, so definitely taking the time to join us is greatly appreciated. Anyone who is a retailer who is attending live is going to be eligible to obtain a free copy of Mountains of Madness from GTS this week. In addition, whether you are watching this recorded or watching it live, we are going to have a special pricing sale between now and next Monday for both of these games. There'll be 52% off MSRP for you, so a little bit higher than normal. It does count for pre-orders as well, so if you're pre-ordering 8-Bit Box for the release here, it's coming up shortly, definitely get those in and we can help get you some better pricing on it. Other than that, I will kick it over to Stephan. I will let you get started, sir. Just so the retailers know, Stephan does have a couple of videos to share during the presentation. This is going to be our first time sharing embedded video inside of a video. So if it comes through a little choppy, we'll make sure to have links at the end of the presentation to share with you and get out to all the attendees so you can see those online as well. Other than that, Stephan, I will turn the floor over to you and you can get started.
Thank you, Scott, and hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I recognize a lot of names in the chat window, so I know we have some loyal retailers already. So thank you very much for taking some time of your busy schedule to listen to my broken English. So I'm here today, invited by Scott and Jessica, to talk to you about Mountains of Madness and 8-Bit Box. So without further ado, I'm going to start my presentation with Mountain of Madness. So Mountain of Madness is a $39.99 suggested retail price game. The size of the box is our Bunny Kingdom size, so it's a pretty big game. It's bigger than King of Tokyo at the same price, so it's a good value. The insert, the content of the game is this way. So you have a beautiful insert with some good components. We're going to get back to that in a minute. And then I'm going to play just a little video. And as Scott mentioned, we are going to give you the link to those videos. They are all available on the YouTube, IELLO USA YouTube channel. If you go to our YouTube channel, you have playlists for each game. So you choose Mountain of Madness and you're going to see every single video review, video teaser, any video material that has been released regarding the game. And we have that for all our games. So if you are looking for material to include to your video rotation on your TV in your store, or to embed in your website, or on your Facebook profile, those are available. Again, if you have trouble finding those, or if there is a specific video that you cannot find, don't hesitate to contact me, Stephan at iellogames.com or info@iellogames.com, and I'll be happy to try to find it for you, or we can even design stuff. So let's go ahead and show that little video. I hope the sound is going to be good. Let's do this.
IELLO presents Mountains of Madness. January 1931, at the heart of
Stephan, you muted yourself, which muted your video. There you go.
Unload materials. I can't read. The wind is blowing like crazy. The team will have to fight against madness when ascending the mountain. Step by step, they will need to overcome the obstacles and collect release and knowledge of this doomed site.
Roger, that's enough. Put the colors back.
I plug that thing into this stuff, and then I can restore colors. And now back to the studio.
Well, it's got a freezing balls out there. We'll hit some bumps in the road so we can get this expedition ready, buddies. We must cover the whole area to the heart of the mountain. At each step, we gather and take a fresh drink, and we talk about what we need. If we are organized and manage to gather the proper materials, we'll get some buddy stuff. And if we find some relic on the road, we grab it.
Our relic is blamed.
The higher we go, the weirder things are going to be. It's said that there is even some specimen with tentacles in there. Because we need to play with a full deck, we may use our leadership tokens. Now that you know, honestly, I have a date with an octopus.
So there you go. So this is a funny little video. It explained the basic mechanic of the game without getting into too much detail. You can close caption it if you don't want to run the sound in your store. But that's a neat little way to, uh-oh, I broke it. That's a neat little way to present the game. All right, so first, sorry about that. First, I don't need to introduce Rob Davio. You know him for his legacy games. He's a former Hasbro R&D designer. Mountain of Madness is the first collaboration between Rob and IELLO. It was a very exciting project, and the result is really neat. Along in the adventure, we have illustrator Miguel Coimbra. This is a picture of him at the Essen last year. Miguel is also the graphic artist for Sea of Cloud, Fairy Tale, and Nessos. So obviously Miguel is a very versatile artist because he's able to convey a very different universe. And for Mountain of Madness, he did something very dark and very mysterious and very chilling. Pun intended, because it's on a cold mountain and it's about horror, Lovecraftian universe. So as I said, it's a cooperative game for 3 to 5 player, age 14 and up, about 60 minutes. Just a retail is $39.99. It has unique game mechanic for a cooperative game. It's a bridge between a gamer game and a party game because it has silly insanity card that make you do some silly stuff, making your communication more difficult. I'm going to show you in a minute also in the component, the iconography and the color change along the game in order to confuse you even more. So the players around the table we try everything in the game to make it as confusing as possible to communicate, because since it's cooperative and you are getting crazier because you are facing more and more madness phenomenon, it's becoming more challenging to achieve the goal that you need to pass to the next turn. So I'm going to use that screen to talk about the component of the game. You can also see on my window, I'm going to show you some of them physically. So the first thing that I really love about that game is our little player marker. It's a plane. So we're going to use it, and if you see my mouse on the screen, we're going to keep track of which square of the board we are. So we start with the coast, and then we explore the mountain and the city and the edge of madness, and then we need to escape with our plane. That's the goal of the game. So you can play up to five player. It's a 3 to 5 player game, as I said earlier. Each player has a character card, and we have, so the other components we have in the games are that cool red sand timer. That's gonna allow you to keep track of time during turns. And the key mechanic are those cards, or insanity cards. And basically, they are challenges. For example, running randomly, if I have that insanity card, it says direct, I only use yes or no when speaking. So every time I'm interacting with the other player, I can only use yes and no. So not people don't know what the insanity cards are. So you can have like every time someone speaks to me, I ask, "Are you sure?" until they confirm. I answer affirmatively any question that can be answered yes or no. So I always say yes. I do not use verbs. This one is a tricky one. I keep my eyes closed and only open them when I play cards. Okay, so those are the insanity cards. When we go along the board, we're going to reveal those codes. So for example, I'm going to reveal a coast card at the bottom. And that coast card says it's Icy Cafe. And at the bottom of the card, it's showing me that I need to gather 7 to 8 equipment and 8 to 10, it's a book. All right, so now players have cards in their hand, and with respecting their insanity card and the challenge of the communication, we are going to need to gather between 7 and 8 tools and between 8 and 10 books. And we're going to say I'm going to say I can provide some tools. You cannot say the exact number and everything, but so we are all communicating, trying to be as close as possible as what's needed. If we succeed, we can get some equipment cards that give us more challenges, but also help us progress in the game. So for example, right here, we get more equipment card. And we have special relics, like those are relics cards. And a relic is a specimen B. When you get this card, draw a madness card. So I have to draw a madness. I'm getting more insane. If you already have a level 3 madness, discard the leadership token. The leadership tokens are on the sledge. You see on the screen here. Those are very nice poker chips. So they are you're going to lose some of them, and they are going to limit your movements. And then the rest of that card say, when I am the leader, I cannot use leadership token during the movement phase. So this one is actually not helping me, but you need them to achieve the game. So as I said, we're gonna move up the mountain, revealing those cards. The leader is always the person choosing which direction we are going. We can talk among ourselves if we are staying on the coast or if we are climbing to the mountain. And eventually, we need to be able to get to the top of the mountain and fly out. I'm not going to go too much in detail about the exact mechanic of the game, because there are about, if you go on our video channel, there are 25 different reviews and walkthrough and explanation of the game. So I don't want to bore you with a long game walkthrough. I think it's more important to focus on the selling point, because it's a retailer seminar, and I'm here to try to explain to you how to sell that game to your customer. So I mentioned earlier, the price is very attractive at $39.99. The components are high quality with a nice insert. So we have, that's our plane, all the components here. We have a nice carved dice. As I said, the leadership tokens are actual poker chips. So these components, this is our sled where we put our equipment that we are sharing. The stock of the player cards are pretty strong. So all in one, pretty good quality material with a very nice board too. A big board. Remind you of the penalty die and everything. And so each of the cards showing you the type of equipment. Like for example, here, I'm gonna need tools and books. Here I need crates and guns. This one I need ropes, etc., etc. The back of the game also is a good selling point because you have the game itself in situation. So you can point out a component when you are grabbing the game if you don't have an open demo copy. Obviously, I would strongly encourage you to open a demo copy and show the game, because it's always nice to be able to touch and show the actual component. But in case you're in a bind or you're quick or anything, it's easy to explain the product just by the side. lately we have been moving all our Lego stuff and the thing that nobody cares at the bottom here. So this way we have the best possible real estate in the back of the box that show you how to romance the story. The rule book is about 14 pages, but there are lots of illustration explaining all the details of the movement and everything. And so that's that. It has been doing very well for us. It was one of our elite release. For those of you who are not familiar with elite release, we give the opportunity to retailers to sign up for early release of our games way in advance. This one was about almost like that was last year Essen release, and we were able to release it at Gen Con. And so this did very well for us. The advantage of the elite release is that you are the only places as an elite retailer where the people can buy that game. It's not available online. It's only available at retail in selected retailers. And so this is a nice feature because you don't have any competition, especially online. So that's really good. We've been doing more and more of that. We've done the crypto. We have on the water, we have a Warhammer 40K, Heroes of Black Ridge. So we are doing more and more of those. It's a little logistical challenge for us because between the delays in shipment and things like that, we have to sit on inventory sometime to be able to release them. But we think it's worth it, and it's our way to thank our loyal retailer to support the brand and support our product. So I think that covers pretty much my presentation of Mountain of Madness. Jessica, are you okay if we open for question about the game right now?
Yeah, this is Scott. That's totally fine. We can open some questions up if anyone has any. There hasn't been anything that has popped into chat right now. But if you do have any questions about the game, feel free to pop it in. I can tell everybody, me personally, I have played this game. I did not realize when I first played this game what the actual game was about. I had literally sat down at a GTS meeting with a couple of folks that were actually retailers and a couple of people from IELLO and learned it on the fly. It's surprisingly easy to learn, even though it sounds like, there's like the, whole befuddling of, trying to confuse the amount of communication going on. But it is extremely easy to learn, and it's extremely hilarious to play because as the cards come out and make you do different things and make you do different actions with players, one that I got personally, and this is a funny story, I got a card that said you cannot stop talking. So I had to continue to talk all the time. And after about maybe...
Very challenging for you, right?
Very challenging for me, yeah. But 30 seconds in, one of the other players realized it, and they were like, "You can't stop talking." And I was like, no, I can't. No, I can't. I cannot stop talking at all. So it was pretty funny. Question from Brandon. Is there a case pack price? I presume meaning that if you were to buy all of them together. I believe right now it's just per unit times the amount of units in a case. How many are in a case right now, Stephan? 6?
It's a 6. It's a
six-pack case.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Brandon, just so you know, the 52% off from today until next Monday, that covers whether you buy one or whether you buy 100. So you'll get the discount on that, whether you buy a full case or whether you don't buy a full case.
You should buy 100, by the way. I support that.
Everyone should buy 100, right? Of course. Awesome. It doesn't look like there's any additional. Oh, no, one just came in. I might have missed it, but what is the win condition? Is it one player reaching the top?
So no, the win condition is, again, it's a cooperation. So there is only one player marker, which is the plane. Oops. Google got excited. So we have only one player marker. So the plane is the location of the team. And we are playing together to gather our resource to be able to achieve those quests that are behind each tile. So the victory condition is we managed to climb all the way to the top of the mountain and we escape through the plane flight path. That's the only way to win the game. But along the way, we are going to get less and less cards and more crazy stuff to do. And so it's going to be more and more challenging to achieve the quests that are the goal, the number of cards that need behind each tile to achieve. And so people are going to drop, well, not going to be able to play anymore because you won't have any resource available. And so if you fail too many of those tests, then you won't be able to finish the game. as a cooperative game. So there is not one winner. The team win as a team or lose as a team.
The one thing that I found extremely interesting about the game is that I've played 3 times personally, and with twice with the same game group, one with a different game group, and it's amazing how different each game is with the way that the icons will, you know, play a part in the game, how you have to share the cards and communicate about the cards. And it is a really engaging game in terms of people communicating with each other constantly, which is really, really cool. So that's been a good experience.
And as I mentioned too, also in the design team and Miguel have done a really good job in the iconography and the convention of the tiles are getting more and more disturbed and confused the higher you climb. So, for example, those location tiles. So this is a coast, so it's very classic. It has a black bar on top that tell you what the place is. It's the endless ice. There is a little flavor text in the wind across the endless leagues of frozen plateau. And then it's telling you it's an arcane equipment that you can get, and then you need 7 to 9 tools and 8 to 10 weapons. Now, if I go farther up, then sometime I'm gonna get nothing, or I'm gonna get just icons with some weird rainbow icons, or this one, the icons are all fuzzy. So it's purposely that the graphic convention, the iconography, the way the game is communicating information to you is inconsistent, because it's adding even more in the chaos between Scott talking non-stop, me being only able to say yes to everything you ask me, the icon not being consistent, the trading phase where when we turn the sand clock, we can't communicate amongst each other anymore. So now we have to make sure that we have given all the information we needed about the type of card we will provide to the community pool. Otherwise, we're going to fail the test. So those graphics elements are really fun into bringing even more confusion.
Yeah, I have to admit, the first time I played this game, I did not expect to laugh playing a game about Cthulhu, but we laughed extremely hard. So it was very fun.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah. That looks like all the questions we have coming in right now. Of course, if anyone does have questions, feel free to prop them into the chat window here. We can always come back and recircle it as we need to. But if you want to go ahead and move on to 8-Bit Box, we can jump into some digital fun. Or I guess analog digital fun.
Or are we doing in time? We're good?
Oh, yeah, we're fine. Yeah, it's only 10:25 by my clock, so we're good.
Okay, perfect. All right. So let's move on to 8-Bit Box. So I'm going to just explain to you real quick what it is before we jump into another little video. So as Scott mentioned, it's digital fun. It's digital analogic fun. So I think that's a pretty clever concept in the sense that we are selling the consumer a video game system with game cartridge. They look like a video game system from the 80s, and no power required, because as you see on the screen, you have your console, which comes with 6 controllers of different color. So on the controller, you have on the left, you have a rotating dial. Let me show you on my screen actually. So you have a rotating dial on the left, well, no, this left, with arrows. So you can choose your direction, up, left, right, down, etc. The other dial arrow to selection A, B, C, or D, and then you have a number counter on top. And colors also. So between all those controls, I'm able to choose direction of my moves, I'm able to choose action, I'm able to choose number of moves or square I move or anything, or I'm able to target that color, which is Scott's player. So now I'm attacking Scott for 6 or whatever the game is. So each game is going to use those controllers. This is the way you're going to program your move and decide what you want to do. And then we all choose our action, we reveal them at the same time, and then we resolve the condition. The other element that come in the console are those cubes. So we have colored cube for each player, and then we have neutral white cubes that are used. We have small ones and big ones that are used for different things during the game. They can represent your life, your energy, some resources, some gold to capture. And then we have 5 different dice. One is a conventional 6-sided dice. One is a X and O's, so fail, it's a binary fail or success dice. The yellow one only have negative, the blue ones only have positive, and the green one is a mix of plus and minuses. So again, depending on which action you are doing on the game is going to call for roll a red and white and a yellow die. Or if you spend 2 more white tokens, you can add a blue die to your roll and these kind of things. The console itself is that size. You're going to have a little plug here for your video card and your audio, and then your on-off power button and everything. And then the controller sits on the top, and then you have all your little cubes and components inside. So this is the basic of the game. And then we have cartridge, and each cartridge comes with a different game, and we're going to get to that in a minute. So now I'm going to play a little video that's going to. So again, this is something you can show in your store. Well, let's do that. And there you have it. I love that little music. It's very catchy. I get bouncy every time I hear it. So let's look at the games now. So first, the price for the all package with the basic console and the 3 game included is $45. The pre-release is coming up actually in 3 days. Talking about that, and I know Scott had some conversation with me about it. The boat is going to land on the 24th. So that means that I'm physically unable to deliver them to you guys in time. By the time it goes to the distributor and then it goes to you, we're going to be behind. So it's making me very sad because October 25 is the second day of Essen Spiel, and I wanted to have the game available at your store at the same time as it was released at the show. We're going to be a little delayed. So I haven't figured out exactly how much more delay I'm going to put because I want the availability in store to be as close as possible to the Asian Spiel because you guys are going to benefit. So it's going to be a few days late, but at least there is some buzz. We did an elite release on that game also. About 40 retailers participated in America. We purposely set up the bar pretty high. You had to buy 24 games because we wanted a real positioning of the game. We had some floor displays. So far, all the retailers I talked to who participate in the elite are very excited. The games are flying off, and consumer are really excited. So that's we expect it to be really our strong product for the fourth quarter. And the online date is, as usual, 2 weeks after the brick and mortar date. So as always, we give you 2 weeks of predicted market, so you are the only one able to sell the product. So as I said, we have 3 games included in the set. Pixoid is a little guy running through a maze If I say waka waka waka, that should give you some hint about what I'm referring to. Obviously, all those games are inspired by the 80s video games without the licenses. So this is Pixoid. Outspeed is a hovercraft racing and fighting game where you are trying to cross the finish line first by stopping other ones and shooting at other spaceships. And then Stadium is an Olympic competition. You have 11 different activities that we're going to compete, and you have two teams, the red and the blue. Red is America, red is Russia, blue is America, and you are using your resource as bidding money to compete. So let's go through those three games real quick. So as I said, this is Pixoid. You have a labyrinth. I'm the yellow player because I love the yellow color. I'm Pixoid on that turn. My goal is to capture those energy cube right here without being caught by the three ghosts running after me. On the side of the, we keep track of the score around the board here. And then on the side, I have white markers. At the end of each turn where I'm still alive, I collect one marker, and it's going to be one victory point for me. So we start with, I think, 11 or 12 markers. If I get caught, every single ghost score as many markers that are left in the pool. However, if I manage to survive the 11th turn without being caught, I score the 11 points, and then I score 1 point for each of the cube I collected from the board. And the way we move, as I said, is we program our little controller with a direction. It's very simple. It's the simplest game of the pack. You program your direction, and you program the number of square you move. So if I'm here, I can move the arrow to the left, to the right, and I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to get me here because I'm trying to get here before crossing that guy, or I don't know. Or I can try to go down one, etc. So everybody program their controller. The Pixoid and the Ghost are programming their controller. We all reveal at the same time. We go clockwise around the table for moving. And if one of the Ghosts pass over the Pixoid, then you lose the game. Then each player has a chance to be Pixoid, at least one, and then we finish the game. Or we can say that each player will be Pixoid twice or 3 times, etc., etc. So pretty simple, fun. There is no communication. So sometimes the ghost gets really frustrated because they see that Pac-Man is stuck, and then all of a sudden one ghost didn't do the obvious move because he went the wrong direction, and then Pixoid, managed to to escape to the maze. Any question about this game? Okay.
There was a quick question, Stephan, just to make you aware of it. It's probably nothing to comment on right now, but just so you know, one of the retailers had asked about if they had contacted you directly about 8-Bit Box versus the special pricing that we have going on for this week. So I just let them know in chat. You can see it in chat when you get a chance. Let them know in chat that may be something for you to coordinate with him and talk about separately outside of this call.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't see the chat the way my window is set up. I'm not sure I can bring it up. So, yeah, I'm not ignoring the question, but I just don't see them.
Yeah, no, I'm monitoring it and checking it. So I did reply in chat, and I'll make sure that you know which retailer it is and how to get a hold of it.
Sure. And,
as you were, Pac-Man. I mean, Pixoid.
All right. Okay, so let's move on to the next game if we don't have any question about Pixoid. And this is Outspeed. And so, real quickly, I'm going to show you actually what the game look inside the cartridge. So those are the little cartridge. And as I said, those ones are included in the game, so they come within the box. But in the future, the concept is that we're going to release more games as cartridge. And because all the plastic components and the controllers are already in the base box, we're going to be able to sell you full games for a retail of $15 because we only have the rule book and then the little component. So, for example, Pixoid is just all cardboard punch out. So that's how the game come up in there. Now let's look at the next one that I'm talking about, which is Outspeed. So in Outspeed, it's a racing game, obviously. And so This one is really full. There is lots of components in there. And the mechanic is that we have 3 different tracks, double-sided, and we always play on 2 tracks, and we move our little spaceships. I guess I should have built my spaceship before my presentation. I apologize. So let me grab one real quick. That's the green spaceship. There you go. It's actually hovercraft. So, so this is my green hovercraft. So it's a clever origami of folding cardboard to get a 3D model. And so I'm going to put my hovercraft on the board, and I don't know if you can see, but there are little white lines that define each square. So I'm moving 1, 2, 3, okay? And when I reach the edge of the board, so if I'm right here and I reach the edge of the board here, then I flip the other one and we continue. So it's like a conveyor belt. We keep moving and flipping the other card to get more track. We have those dashboards that are depending of which A, B, C, or D move you choose on your controller, you choose those actions. So for example, on this one, you're gonna get 1 more energy. You lose 1 energy, but then you move 3 forward. This one, you lose 1 energy, you move 3 forward. This one, you lose 1 energy, and you move 1 forward, and you get a star equipment. Those are those little tokens right here. And on the other side, you can have an accelerator that gives you 1 more move. This one is -2 move, but you have weapons. You can bump people or move, make other people move backward and things like that. So, oops. So that's pretty much the mechanic. The goal of the game, obviously, it's a race, so you want to be first. And that's it. So that's outspeed. Okay. And then the last one is Stadium. So Stadium also has a lot of components in it. It's for 4 to 6 players. And you have 2 rule books actually. You have the rule book that explains to you the basic mechanic of the game, how to set up the track and everything. And then you have a rule book for each of the 12 different activities. So we have cycling, horse riding, golfing, dancing, weightlifting, relay, swimming, pole jumping, bow and arrow, running, beach volley. This one is fun. It's doping. So you can choose if you want to dope or if you want to accuse someone of doping. And depending on what you choose, you get forward or backward. You have basketball, fencing, rugby, and bodybuilding, and then the last one is taekwondo. So for each activity, so the way it works is that those are the components of the track. So each of those track components are actually an activity. I randomly took it, but this is the doping actually. So let's look at this one, for example. So the doping, it's telling you that we can talk during that activity because there is a little speaker, so we can communicate. And then we're going to choose if we choose A, we are doing an inquiry, or if you choose B, we are doping. And then depending of what the result, if one of the team choose to inquire, investigate, and the other one was doping, then they steal the energy from the other team. However, if I was doping, I get 2 energy for each of my player. But if there was no inquiry and I was doping, then I get 6 energy for all my player. And the way we keep track of energy is that each player has this mark, this token, this card here, and we start with 30 points of energy. And we keep track of those with the little white marker. each time we do an activity, we are going to have to spend some of those 30 points to try to win. So an easy way to win is to put a lot of points in an activity. But remember, we're going to go around the table and we're going to play 10 of them. So you need to save some resources for the end of the game, because otherwise, the more we advance in the game, the more complex the activities are. And if you have spent all your energy, all your resources at the beginning of the game, you have nothing left to beat and you can't help your team. So it's a resource management in terms of the energy. And then the other side of the board here, depending on which activity you are doing, you're keeping track of your actions. So for example, let's say in an activity, I need to say, okay, I'm going to spend 10 of my energy points in that activity. So I put a marker here on 10, and then I play that activity, and then I'm going to deplete my 10 that I originally did. So I have already spent my 10 here because I committed them to that activity. But that track is allowing me to keep track of where I am of my spending of my 10. When I arrive to 0, I cannot help my team to participate in that activity anymore. So let's look at another one. This is pole vaulting. So on this one, we cannot communicate. That's why there is a little speaker with a cross on it, no speaking. And then we see 3 medals, because at the end of that activity, of that trial, someone is going to get a gold medal, someone is going to get a silver medal, and someone is going to get a bronze medal. And you see that there is a scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the height you are jumping. And so there are little spots to put a marker, either a red or a blue marker. So we show which team has achieved that height. And you can either play A, and then you are spending a number of energy to climb up. So you can spend up to 6 energy, or you can pass. And if you pass, then that's as high as you went. So maybe I was able to commit 2 energy to that activity. So I'm at the level 2. My partner, Scott, was playing with me and he committed 3. So we are on 2 and 3. Right now, Scott is gold and I'm silver. But if the other team has committed 5 and 6, then they are gold and silver, and Scott is bronze and I get nothing. So this is an example of how much you are bidding of your resources. And again, those points that you are bidding are coming from your pool that is available here. I hope that makes sense. So again, each activity has iconography on it that explain to you what you're supposed to do. So you technically, after a few turns, you don't need a few games, you don't need the rule book, but each of the page of the leaflet explain to you exactly what you are doing and how you are doing it and how you resolve the competition and everything. So that is Stadium. And that's all the games for 8 bucks.
And Stephan, can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the plans that IELLO has with 8-Bit Box past those first 3 titles?
Yes, so we are, thank you for the question, Scott. We are releasing 2 new games next year. There will be, obviously, the idea is to have a modular system so we can have more and more games. So IELLO has already 2 games that are committed in the pipeline from IELLO next year. Obviously, we are talking with other partners to figure out what we can do to expand that system even more. We think that it's a neat little idea and it might take off and become a staple, because again, those, I mean, Pixoin is very simple because it's kind of our demo game, but when you come to a game like Stadium or Outspeed, they are real. This is a real full game in a $15 package because we don't have to spend any money for the plastics component in there. So it's allowing us to keep the cost very, very low. This is obviously our flag game for the Christmas season. The French team is currently preparing for the Essenspiel. We're going to do a big launch there about the game. We have a huge social media campaign on both sides of the ocean. We're going to support the game. As I mentioned, people who participate in the Elite already receive the game with some promo card, and then we have a cardboard display that allow you to put 4 games in there. They look really nice. So we're really putting a lot of communication. Many of our international partners already signed up to localize the product. So it's gonna, we think it's gonna be good. I mean, I'm almost sold out of the first print run. So it's,
well, and it's cheaper than an Xbox or a PlayStation 4, right?
for sure, for sure. It doesn't need any electricity. You can play it with even in the woods.
I did get a question. Tate asked, love the game concept. What age group are you getting the most interest from? Kids or nostalgic 30 to 40-year-olds?
That is a very, very good question. So I had a long conversation with one of my young colleagues in France because he was like, we need to target that to the kids and everything. And I'm like, buddy, no, I don't think so. So from my experience playing with, actually, I showed the game to my 25-year-old son and he was like, yeah. When I show it to retailers, like people are getting really excited. So there is a huge nostalgia factor in that game. It's really it's tickling that memorabilia thing, like the fact that we reference, oh yeah, that game looks like F-Zero, this one looked like Track and Field. And so that whole aspect, the fact that it looks dorky and the little console and everything, I think we are going toward more of a adult target. The nice thing about it is that the games are simple enough that they can be played with a kid. So that's why Stadium is 10 and up, Outspeed is 8 and up, Pixel is 6 and up. So they are accessible. But I think we, in terms of sell to the consumer, your target audience is an older audience.
I do like the idea of playing Track and Field without breaking my thumb. So that would be very, yeah, exactly. Having to hit those 2 buttons at the same time was crazy. So excellent. If anyone has any additional questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat window. You're welcome, obviously, to ask about any of the games that we've talked about today, or if you have any other questions about IELLO products or IELLO in general, by all means, feel free to fire away. In the short term, I can tell you, while I haven't played 8-Bit Box, as a big-time video gamer, I am looking forward to it myself. These are 3 classic games that I'm familiar with from growing up. Obviously, F-Zero was a big one from the racing side, and Track and Field and Pac-Man were big in the arcades back in the day, which is probably dating myself more than anything. But yeah, looking forward to seeing, kind of the modularity of that system and how it comes around. Here is a long one, but this is a good one. This is also from Tate. I'm a new retailer, and I followed Gen Con this year closely. I saw the news about the incident for Stephan and was having second thoughts about carrying IELLO games at my store. After reading his reply on ICV2 and listening to this webinar, I don't have any concerns about carrying IELLO product, and I appreciate Stephan's quick apology for the Gen Con incident. I look forward to all the games here today being at my store. That's great. Thank you so much, Tate. I'm sure Stephan appreciates that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was wondering if there would be any question about that, and I'm happy to address that. Obviously, most of you have read the post I made on Facebook. I made a very terrible error of judgment that looked bad on me, on the IELLO team, on the Gamma staff, on the Gamma board, and I feel mortified about what I did. It wasn't justified. I think the thing has been blown out of proportion for whatever reason, and I don't need to get into detail about that. I can tell you that after that, right after I realized the bad thing I had done, and I had made a lot of personal introspection and research on myself, I've been attending anger management sessions that have been very good for me, allowing me to understand where some of my lack of patience is coming from, and how to interact with my surrounding, and how to deal with deception or being upset or disappointment, I would say. I can tell you it has impacted my life already since then. I've been much more cool and much more patient with people. And I also want to, I want to work with Gamma to do some session about trainings and sharing my experience about how to deal with frustration and challenges in the work environment when things are out of control, out of your hand, and you don't get the things the way you want, and how to handle that, and how to resolve problems. So thank you for mentioning that. Obviously it will never happen again, ever.
Yeah, no, very, very well said. And congratulations on your new store, Tate. That is great to hear. Tate did comment. He said, "You're welcome. Thanks for doing these webinars. Brings a much more personal connection with companies and the games. They're excellent." That's great feedback. Thank you so much. That is our goal. You know, while obviously I work with GTS and we would love for everyone to be able to buy games from GTS, our primary goal here is to bring publishers and retailers together to share information, obviously here in a live format, also in a recorded format, which is a great time to kind of plug and make sure everybody knows. If you missed anything that was said here, this will be on YouTube later today. We'll have a link that we'll share both through email from GTS's email distribution list, and then also through a couple of different Facebook groups that are retailer centric and retailer only, but you'll be able to come back to this, reference it, or share it with any other retailer friends that you have as well. On that same note, just so everyone knows, because Essen Spiel is this week, and there is some travel happening between this week and the following week, we're actually going to skip the next 2 weeks. So the 29th and the 5th, we're not going to have any retailer webinars, but we will be back on the 12th, and we'll have North Star games available on the 12th, which if you're not signed up to receive notifications on that, let us know. We can make sure you get signed up on that, and we do have a link that you can kind of opt in so you can get information about it. There are no other questions popping in right now. So Stephan, I don't know if you have any final thoughts or any final comments you want to add at all?
Well, just real quick, I want to thank you guys again for putting that together. I think it's a great format. I've been wanting to do video blog or things like that, and unfortunately, I'm a little short of time. So the fact that you reached out to us and said, "Hey, do you want to participate on that?" I was like, sure, this is what I've been wanting to do for so long. So I'm super glad. I hope the content of what we showed today was interesting and pertinent to the retailers. I'll be happy to come again for that. And real quick, I want to mention 2 or 3 of the other things that IELLO is doing for retailers. Number 1 is our Kibo/Show Patron. So basically the IELLO online store, when we get an order on our website, someone buy King of Tokyo on our website, if you are signed up as a retailer to sign up for the Kibo system, you get a notification that there is a King of Tokyo sale on the IELLO website, and you can say, I would like to ship that game. The system gives you 24 hours, and after 24 hours, the retailer, which is geographically the closest to the customer, get that sale. So IELLO doesn't get any money. It's actually the system costs us money, but we are trying to redirect those online sales to retailers. And then you grab your King of Tokyo game on your shelf, you put it in a box, you put a little slide, a little paper about, hey, come see us, we are down the street, we're happy to see you. And then you ship it, you enter the tracking number in the system, and you get paid for the game. So that's one of the services that we offer for retailer. Make sure to check it out. Reach out to me, info@iellogames.com if you have questions. Signing up is free. You don't have any commitments. Some retailers don't ship anything. They just like to see what is selling on the online store to see what is popular. So that's one of the first one. I want to remind you about the fact that every new game that we release always have a brick and mortar date, and 2 weeks later, an online date. So you always have 2 weeks of protected market for you to be able to sell the product without worrying about online competition. And then finally, again, the Elite release, make sure to sign up with our newsletter. If you, when we are able to bring product early on, you can commit to a certain number of products. You tell us how many games you want, which distributor are you gonna buy it from. It's just a gentleman agreement. It's just a commitment, a verbal commitment. And then at the end, when we close the Elite sign up, we send that list and we say, hey, GTS, here is your list of all the retailers that want to participate through you for each of your location. GTS get the actual order from you guys. We ship the game in advance, and you get the product in your store months before the release date. And I think that's all it is. We have been more and more active on our social media. We participate with Brand Connect through GTS or through our own channel, so you can do both. And also, IELLO is known for the nice graphics and the design and the thing we do. So if you want to do something locally, if you need a sign for your Facebook page, if you need a poster or anything, reach out to us because we'll be happy to make something for you. We can integrate the logo of your store in one of our posters, send it to you, email it directly to your local FedEx location, whatever you want. We want to help you promote our product. And so that's everything we do. We can to try to push games.
One thing I'll add in, Stephan, which is really good, and this kind of just came to the front of my mind with Tate mentioning about his store being new. For anyone who doesn't know, we actually do have what we call a new to you bundle for IELLO. If you're a store that hasn't carried IELLO before, or if you do carry IELLO and just maybe haven't carried a broader selection of their games, definitely ask your GTS sales rep about it. It's a great bundle that includes a lot of their mini games, King in Tokyo, King in New York, several games that are perfect for putting on display kind of all in the same area, making that kind of branded section, which does really good in terms of like placement in the store and stuff. So that's another good thing to talk about.
Thanks for reminding me about that, Scott. Indeed, yes. For all the stores we have talked to who are like making a IELLO section, because of the branding of our product is so typical. Like you always have the IELLO logo at the bottom and the number of players on the top, etc. So people play a IELLO game and they come back to the store and said, "Oh, I really enjoy King of Tokyo. Let's try that Bunny Kingdom thing." And so having a IELLO section is helping sell more on games because those games are selling each other by building the trust and the confidence of the consumer. The last thing we developed, sorry, we have so many things that we are trying to develop for retailers. Before Gen Con and Origins, we did VIP nights, which are private events where we go in a location and we run games. We are making those available for retailers. So if you want to run a VIP night, either for a release or even during the year for anything, contact us, and then we can set that up in your store. We will send demo people. We will set up a swag bag with a lot of product, and then we will create an event. We will communicate about that on our website, on our social media, and obviously it will be a good event. So we have two levels. We have VIP night where IELLO is more involved, or we have game night, which is a lighter one where you are in charge of everything, but you still get the support of all our marketing.
So Jason had a really good question here. He said, let me scroll back up a second here. He said that he's been looking for manufacturers or publishers in your case to do empty boxes that provide the art of the games to help build window displays. Would you be interested in doing something like that? And he added a comment about being potentially UV resistant, just to kind of help with the sun and the sunlight coming into the windows and things like that.
So yeah, I think I saw your post on Facebook, and I wanted to reply, and I can, but I exactly the mention of the UV resistance is what I was thinking about. So we have extra boxes in our warehouse of ding and done product or missing part or anything. So we could send you empty boxes. The problem is, you're right. If a game sit like, I have here my library of all my test games, my sample games. So I have like all my different versions of King of Tokyo, and I don't have a direct window on it, but the old ones are already starting to fade. So the prime, you're right, is putting boxes in the window. The sun is gonna wash them out super quickly. And this is exactly what I was thinking about. So send me an email to Stephan@iellogames.com or info@iellogames.com, and we'll send you some. But yes, the problem is that they're not going to last very long because there is no UV treatment. And I don't know how we can do that. I don't know if there is some product that we can apply after the fact on our existing boxes to make them UV resistant. I haven't heard about that. I need to look more into this. So
I can tell you last week or 2 weeks ago, I was in Seattle, and there was a store, Blue Highway Games, that had a beautiful front window display. They had tons of Halloween games that were up front. King of Tokyo and King of New York with the expansion was up there. But they had they had gone a level further. They had taken the game boxes and laid them out in the window, but then they had also gone to I guess a hobby store or a craft store of some type and added all of the Halloween decorations and stuff around them, and it just looked absolutely beautiful. So yeah, the stores that have those front windows that have a chance to display that could be a really good opportunity, which would be great. I mean, I can't imagine a young kid walking by at Christmas time, seeing an empty box of 8-bit box and not wanting to check it out, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. So
Cool.
anyway, send me an email and we'll send you some boxes.
There was a comment. Dawn made a comment here. She has UV tint on their windows. We installed it specifically for this. I don't know if that works for downtown windows. That's actually a great point. That may be an option to, tint the windows. I don't know if that would, darken it or lighten it or anything, but that's a good suggestion as well, which is great. Awesome.
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Well, just as a reminder before we close up here, want to make sure everyone remembers that anyone who attended live between now and next Monday, you're eligible to get a free copy of Mountains of Madness from GTS. We'll cover the shipping on that for you as well, so there's no worry about that. And then from now until next Monday, anyone, whether you've attended live or whether you're watching this recorded on YouTube, you do get 52% off for your retail store for these games, which is a great deal, a great opportunity. If you have any questions, by all means, just because we stop recording here doesn't mean that you have to stop the conversation. Feel free to email us. Stephan, where can people locate you or reach you if they want to reach out to you?
So my email is Stephan, Stephan, at yellowgames.com. It's IELLOGAMES.com or info@yellowgames.com. And my cell phone is 206-604-8365.
You're a brave man. This is going on YouTube. Everyone's going to call you now.
My phone is everywhere. I'm in California, so don't call me early because you're going to make me grumpy. Yeah, I'm available. I want to be available for you guys anytime.
Awesome. And if anyone has any questions for me on the GTS side, my email is smorris, MORRIS, at gtsdistribution.com. Again, we're going to take the next 2 weeks off. We'll see you again in November on the 12th with North Star Games. But until then, Stephan, I want to say thank you very much for joining us. All the retailers that took time out to join us, thank you all very much. Have a wonderful week. If you are attending Eschen Spiel, please stop by the Yellow booth, check out their stuff. If not, we will talk with you soon. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great week.
Thanks, everybody.